94 series. Pole position, Phil Borley, the man who finished second in the first leg, trying to do it all over again on the Norton. Alongside him, though, Jim Moody, third place in leg one, and Jim Moody trying to equal the honours, I think, get the Yamaha ahead of the Nortons. If he can do it this time, then he really will pull off a masterful stroke. The reigning champion in the middle of the front row, riding number 25, Ian Simpson, delighted. I suspect he'd like to go out on a high note if he possibly can. Simpson in the middle then, winner of race one and the reigning and new 94 champion. Fourth place in leg one, Matt Llewellyn. Llewellyn too has taped up his helmet there to keep the condensation away from the visor. Llewellyn charged hard on the Ducati, and completing the front row, Jim Moody's Yamaha teammate, the Kiwi, New Zealander Andy Stroud. Murky, very murky here, and you can see there the championship with one race remaining. Simpson from Borley, Moody, Llewellyn and Rutter. Michael Rutter starts on the second row, Andy Stroud on 132. A good result for Andy Stroud, but Ian Simpson already the champion. Two warm-up laps of the 1.2 mile circuit before we line up for an 18-lap race. That'll be 21.6 miles. Alongside me, Steve Parrish.
Well, they're just starting out on the first of their two warm-up laps. The reason they have two warm-up laps here today, as we explained earlier, is that just to get these huge, great big fat slick tyres up to temperature, they have tyre warmers, as we saw on the grid, but really they need to get the heat into these tyres and just check the machine out. There really is no adjustments that can be made after these two warm-up laps. So unfortunately, if any problem is spotted during this period, then there's very little that can be done about it, apart from maybe adjusting front brake levers and things like that are adjustable by the rider. They can also make slight adjustments to the suspension. There is dampers and adjustments that can be fiddled and clicked around with as they sit on the grid, but only by the rider. Nothing can be done by the mechanics or the managers once they've completed these two laps. We're seeing them crossing the start and finish line to start the last of their two warm-up laps at this moment.
Well, 30 riders on the line then, and 5 across the front row, 4 on the row behind that, 5-4 all the way down to complete the lineup. And watch for young Mike Rutter on the Ducati on the second row, riding number 8, the very distinctive, easily identifiable Ducati. Rutter has ridden consistently right through the season. He really has turned in a superb performance. Matt Llewellyn too on the red Ducati, completing the front row. He's 5th fastest. He's ridden admirably in recent weeks and is getting quicker and quicker. Winner of the big race at Mallory just last week, and the Ducati does seem to suit this short 1.2 mile circuit here at Brands Hatch. Coming then out of Clearways through Clark Curve to reform on the grid. Yellow flag being waved, the riders have to line up and get into position. We will then have the flag marshal on the front. There you can see him, bottom of your picture, John Ward Clark of the course, and he is the top man here at Brands, certainly as far as the racing goes. He controls the riders and controls the event. Pole position, Phil Borley, number 30. Then Jim Moody, number 2. The new champion, Ian Simpson, riding number 25, with nothing to prove, just to put the varnish, I think, Steve, on this.
Yeah, I think actually Jim Moody would have been very happy if it had stayed wet. He was hoping for wet conditions because I think he has a much better chance of winning, but nevertheless he'll be out there giving his best.
18 laps, 21.6 miles. This is race 22, the final race in the 11-round Super Cup Series for TT Superbike class, and a cracking start for number 2, Jim Moody on the Yamaha. Moody, everything to prove, really going for it. Hislop, who finished 6th in the first leg on the Honda, is up to second. Number 3, Steve Hislop. Ian Simpson, number 25, is in 3rd, but they'll have to sort themselves out just a little bit. Llewellyn is in 4th, Michael Rutter is in 5th, and away they go along up Cooper Street.
Yeah, that was a tremendous start once again by number 2 rider on the Yamaha, Jim Moody, but he's got to be very careful because these tyres, they really do need a couple of laps just to get themselves up to sticky conditions, to give them plenty of grip, especially on this point here. They're putting 140, 150 brake horsepower down at this point, accelerating up through the gears, and the last thing they need to do is to have a huge slide, which is only going to lose them time. But it looks like everyone's round safely on this first lap.
In second place then, number 3, 11 times an Isle of Man TT winner, Steve Hislop on the Honda, formerly from H.E.A.T, now resident at Onken in the Isle of Man. And there is Hislop, who has not really shown the form that we're used to seeing from him on the short circuits on the Honda this year, but certainly appears to be going better in this final race in the series. Maybe Steve Hislop trying to salvage something for Honda, but definitely it's Yamaha in front. We're seeing the Norton polish just knocked off a little bit here at the moment. Early days, though, a long way to go. There's Simpson, there's Llewellyn. Borley is behind Michael Rutter. Borley then running in 6th, Rutter in 5th. Llewellyn still going well, everyone's safely around, good dry conditions, but look at Moody, he's getting away.
Well, this is great for Jim Moody at the moment. He is getting away, and the riders have got to pass Steve Hislop. Number 3 there, Steve Hislop, who I don't think is going to be lapping as fast. In fact, it's proven he's not lapping as fast as Jim Moody, so this is doing Moody a lot of favours, because behind Moody is number 4, 5 there. Yes, he's gone through. Simpson in 3rd place. Number 25, Simpson in 3rd place. He has to pass Steve Hislop on machine number 3 before he can get a chance of having a go at number 2, Moody.
Yamaha leads then. The 31-year-old Scot, Jim Moody, leads. Hislop it is in 2nd. In fact, we have Scotsmen in the top 3. The 4th place man comes from Leicestershire. But look at Jim Moody now on the Yamaha. Honda in 2nd. Llewellyn coming out to challenge for 3rd place on the Ducati, but Ian Simpson, the reigning champion, with nothing else to prove, but I'm quite sure, as I said, he would dearly love to make it a double win here. Phil Borley, his teammate, who is in 6th place, took the double win at the round prior to this at Alton Park. And they've been having 1-2s all over the place. But contrary, Steve, to what you said, Hislop appears to be on a charge.
Completely contrary. I said Steve Hislop wouldn't be going as fast, but he's now set the fastest lap of the race. But I am very, very surprised, because we really didn't see anything of him in the first race. And in fact, he's had an appalling season. He's absolutely done nothing. But now it's the end of the season. Maybe he's trying to keep his job for next year. So Steve Hislop just set the fastest lap and in 2nd spot.
Well, at the risk of speculating, maybe keep his job or have offers for another one, who knows? But this is what it's all about. This is certainly the time of year, just as in Formula One car racing, when people are thinking about changing camps. Managers are looking for new riders, riders are looking for new teams, and the business is really quite difficult.
Yeah, very much so, and it's always said that the first and the last race of the season are the important ones, because people remember them, and certainly this latter part of the season, riders are out there and they're looking for positions and places in the best team that they can possibly get in. But Steve Hislop's been with Honda a long time. He's a terrific road circuit rider. He's won the TT for many, many times, and I'm sure they'll be very keen to retain his services.
Matt Llewellyn then, number 6, the vivid red Ducati is closing again on the reigning champion, the sole Norton in the top 4. Ian Simpson, number 25, and Borley appears to have gone missing from the leaderboard at this stage. I can't see his name on the computer, and I can see Michael Rutter in 5th. This is the first 4. Llewellyn, and I can see Rutter there in 5th, but certainly Simpson now pressing on in 3rd. Hislop is still in 2nd. Jim Moody on his way to 20 points if he can sustain this over the period, but only 5 laps have gone. But again, another fastest lap by Hislop, 47.34. The lap record, however, held by Brian Morrison, set in October 92 at 46.8, so still a fair way to go. Phil Borley sitting down, obviously a mechanical problem.
Yeah, a problem for Phil Borley. What a disappointment for him. His 2nd place in the championship could be in jeopardy, but we're going to have to wait and see how the race pans out at this point. And the man it would be in jeopardy from is number 2, who's leading this race. So I think Phil Borley will be sitting there on the sidelines really worrying about number 2, Jim Moody, leading this race.
Well, while you were saying that, Steve, I looked at the mathematics. Borley currently has 284 points. Moody has 267. If he takes the win, he will indeed go into 2nd place and split the Nortons.
Well, it's really now going to be down to Ian Simpson, and if he can get past Jim Moody. And I have to say, I thought Ian Simpson was going to be on more of a charge. He's got the championship under his belt. There's nothing he can't lose that championship, and I really felt that he would be pushing hard. So maybe when his tyres come up to temperature, we're going to see this man, number 25, Ian Simpson, and he possibly will know that Phil Borley's out of the race at this point. But I'm speaking number 6 there, Matt Llewellyn tries to go through. He doesn't quite make it as they go into Paddock Hill corner.
All it needs, and let me just make it clear, all it needs for Jim Moody, this race leader, not to take second place in the championship is for one of the three riders chasing him to put him into second place. That's all it'll take, because that then means he will be on equal points, 284 with Borley, and Borley certainly has had most wins this season on the Norton. Moody's only had 2 wins, and early on in the season at that. So if Simpson, number 25, can win the race, doesn't matter who wins it, so long as Jim Moody is pushed down into second place, then we retain a Norton 1-2. If Moody wins the race, he goes second in the chase.
Yeah, and this is going to be a real bonus for Yamaha. I really don't think they expected to get in the top 2 in this championship. But I am absolutely astonished at number 3, Steve Hislop's performance at the moment. He's had an appalling year. He's never got the bike working. He said it's been slow, it's not handled, but that bike looks really, really good at the moment. And it is certainly the RC45 doing very, very well in the World Superbike Championship. So he has now got it working.
Well, this looks like the Steve Hislop of old, the Steve Hislop that we've come to know over the years, the Steve Hislop that we've seen absolutely invincible in the Isle of Man TT. And what a fillip for his confidence as well, going into a brand new season. If he can ride with the best of them at this level in short circuits, and this is very short circuit, 1.2 miles, then Hislop really will be in the fray next year. Simpson, though, still riding in very determined fashion, but so is Matt Llewellyn. There's absolutely nothing between them. Simpson, though, maybe if he can just get past Hislop, might get a sniff at Moody, but he's going to have to work for it. Incredible.
Yeah, he keeps having a look on the inside as they go into Druid's Corner, but lap 10 of 18, it doesn't leave him a lot of time, because he's got to get past that second place rider, Steve Hislop, before he can attack Jim Moody. So I think that, and all this time it's happening, Moody has set the fastest lap again at 47.24, so Moody is the quickest man on the circuit. Here we are now with Ian Simpson in third place, looking right down the tailpipe and the exhaust pipe of the second place man, Steve Hislop. They're crossing the start and finish line at this point, the fastest part of the course, 130 miles an hour as they brake hard into Paddock Hill Corner. Down to 4th gear at this point. You'll see he's closing in a little bit as they come up here now. I think they have a back marker in front of them. This could cause some problems.
Number 2, Moody, race leader, sweeping round through it. Hislop has gone, and up to 3rd has gone Matt Llewellyn. Up to 3rd has gone Llewellyn, so Simpson got thrown the back marker, and he had a real problem. Matt Llewellyn, then number 6 on the Ducati, is in 3rd place behind the Honda, number 3 Honda. There he is, new 3rd place man, Matt Llewellyn, who is really having a fantastic closing few races in the 1994 season, is sitting in a very, very good 4th place in the championship. He needs a good ride in this, because he was in danger of losing that place to Michael Rutter if Michael Rutter had had a better ride, but Rutter is down in 7th. Ian Simpson, I'm astonished, Steve, is just not delivering the goods that we expected.
Well, he isn't, but he really got that back marker wrong as they came into Druid's Corner there. He went one side of the back marker, and I think the back marker lifted the bike up and moved him offline, which allowed number 6 to get through. So that really did a lot of favours for Llewellyn, but didn't help Simpson at all.
And a huge amount of favours for Jim Moody and Yamaha, because there's a lot of excitement in the Yamaha camp. They sense that they can steal second place in the title chase really in the closing seconds of the 1994 season. Tail-enders abound at the moment. Look at Matt Llewellyn, number 6, coming out past the Honda, sits up a bit too early. Steve Hislop, not a man to be passed easily, but down Paddock Hill Bend they go. Simpson now is still on the back in 4th place, has closed up again in fairness to him, but all the time Jim Moody is creeping away. The gap now nearly a full second, 0.95 of a second. It's a big gap, and it's looking an ever increasingly difficult task.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we're looking now at number 3 there, Steve Hislop, being followed very, very closely by the Ducati of Matt Llewellyn. Now, Matt Llewellyn took a gamble this year in buying that Ducati. It's a very, very expensive motorcycle. And, there we have Phil Borley, and he is looking very, very distraught at this point, because it looks like his second place in the championship is being taken away right in front of him at this point.
Well, I'm just wondering whether Simpson will be getting the message. Surely Ian Simpson in 4th place will know that he's got to do something about Jim Moody in the lead.
Yeah, but I just don't think there's any way in these closing laps that he can do it. It's not as if he's in 2nd spot ready to make that challenge. He's got to pass 2 other riders before he's in that position. I'm very surprised, as you, Barry, that Simpson hasn't turned the wick up a little bit here because we saw such an outstanding performance of him here earlier.
Wouldn't be anything to do with the fact that Jim Moody is a Scotsman, I suspect. However, Moody leads. Llewellyn charging hard in third. Hislop between him and the race leader. Simpson now closing. Hislop astonishingly really going well, and race leader, that's the gap. You can see now it's 1.3 seconds, so almost 100 yards separates this man from the man ahead of him. Jim Moody on the Yamaha, 31 years of age, having ridden brilliantly. He was on the Norton last year. He joined the Yamaha camp for the 1994 season, originally with Mark Farmer, and then replaced Andy Stroud, drafted into the team halfway through the season. And Moody has suffered the frustrations of chasing the Nortons all year, and at the 11th hour we're seeing him turn the tables.
Yeah, that's right. There we have number 3, Steve Hislop on the Honda, on the V4 4-stroke Honda machine, 750cc. Behind him is the twin-cylinder Ducati, which is 950cc. That's allowed to be that size because it's only a twin cylinder. And behind that, in 4th place, number 25, Ian Simpson on the rotary engine Norton, which is actually only a capacity of 588cc. So 4 vastly different motorcycles, all in the top 4.
Steve Hislop, 2nd place, number 3. That huge RC45 Honda, very big, wide motorcycle. Hislop's arms stretched all the way round the very bulky fuel tank, and he's climbing all over it. But if anything, Hislop is now catching Jim Moody. Hislop is on a charge, and we are coming into the last sort of 3 laps of this race, and Steve Hislop is definitely closing on the race leader. The gap now down under a second, and he's pulling Matt Llewellyn, number 6, with him and dropping Ian Simpson away.
And yes, Steve Hislop, number 3, now is right on the tail of number 2, Jim Moody. So I believe Moody has a problem, whether it's a tyre problem, an engine problem, but to lose that gap that he had, and it seemed that it was a very well-established gap, and he's lost it all within the space of 1 lap. So at the moment now, Matt Llewellyn's posted the fastest lap of the circuit.
I wonder what Phil Borley is thinking right now. There he is sitting there. He is hoping and praying, I'm sure, that Steve Hislop can do him a very big favour indeed. Steve Hislop, it might just have escaped Hislop the politics of this particular little battle that he's locked up in, because he may not even know that Phil Borley has retired from the race. So Hislop is going to do everything in his power to take the lead, and he's having a really good look, and he takes it. Through on the inside on the Honda goes Steve Hislop.
But he's run wide, he's run wide. Steve Hislop went really, really wide, and he's off. He went into Paddock Hill corner so fast, he just couldn't slow the machine down. He ran out wide, got on the old part of the circuit, and that's it. So poor Phil Borley, who is sat on the side of the circuit, thinking, you can see the disappointment from Phil Borley. At one point, he had his 2nd position in the championship, but now he's lost it.
Well, there it was, and there it wasn't. That is incredible stuff. Poor Steve Hislop. Jim Moody can't believe his luck and good fortune. He's in among the tail enders now, and there's no one else now can take that 2nd place in the championship from him. I'm sure he thinks he's home and dry. There it is. An incredible performance from Hislop, a dejected Steve Hislop, thankfully very fit. And how does Phil Borley feel? Poor Phil Borley, he gives up 2nd place in the standings. But a great ride. You cannot take it away from Jim Moody.
Well, I could see the smile on Jim Moody's face there. I mean, he didn't want to see Steve Hislop fall off, but it was so much luck and fortune there for Jim Moody, number 2, who will take 2nd place in this championship.
Well, dramatic stuff. Matt Llewellyn, the first to say, well done, Jim, a great ride. Ian Simpson, well, he will realise, as Hislop gets a ride back with young Michael Rutter, Ian Simpson might just think that he could have done a little bit better. Phil Borley, fit well, but totally dejected. But a great win and a convincing result for Jim Moody. Almost lost it on the last lap, but Steve Hislop just overcooked it. 1 lap to go. There's the confirmation. Moody from Matt Llewellyn, a great 2nd. Ian Simpson, Andy Stroud, Peter Graves, a good ride, and Michael Rutter was 6th. Yamahas, Nortons, Ducatis.